Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Your friends are still coming. We'll wait for another 1 minute, okay? Then we'll start. Okay. So last time we were discussing about the malarial parasite, yes, Plasmodium falciparum. We studied about the morphology and we studied about the life cycle. Okay, both the asexual phase and the sexual phase. And so, see, um, even for other malarial parasites like Plasmodium vivax, oval, or malaria, they have the same cycle. Please remember this, they have the same cycle. The only difference between those, those treatments between Plasmodium falciparum compared to the others is that there is another structure which is known as hypnozoids. Okay, hypnozoids are the form of the parasite which causes like relapse. Matlab, again after suffering from malaria, then again it will relapse. Okay, it will start again after it can take months, it can take years, etc. Okay, so these hypnozoids, they are not formed in case of Plasmodium falciparum. That's why there is no relapse. Okay, please remember this very thing. So there was one step in the life cycle. Do you still remember the exoerythrocytic cycle?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that exoerythrocytic cycle in Plasmodium falciparum, it takes only one cycle, one time only. But in the others like oval, malary, and this thing, what is that? Oval, malary, and vivax, around this thing, secondary exoerythrocytic cycle takes place. Okay, in them, matlab second, like a round
Excuse me,
of
ma'am.
two. Yeah.
Are you showing any slides?
No, I'm not showing any slide right now.
Okay.
It's just we have already discussed about the life cycle, no? I'm just telling like what points you should remember. You can jot it down. Okay, you can jot it
Okay.
down in your notebooks that there is no presence of hypnozoid in case of Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, uh, and this hypnozoid is responsible for the relapse. Okay, so Plasmodium falciparum में no hypnozoids, but in case of oval, malary, and the vivax, hypnozoids are present. That's why relapse is very much like uh, relapse takes place. I mean, okay. What happens is like after this, after a certain period of time, these hypnozoids they will again activate themselves. Okay, they will activate themselves and will start forming like and will start with this fresh infection type of thing will happen in people who are suffering from the other three other than the falciparum. Okay, so why is it so? Because this, you know once uh, why hypnozoids are not formed here in the case, what to say, in case of Plasmodium falciparum, the reason why is that the merozoites which comes out, again, after the bursting of the cyzone, the merozoites are released, right, from the liver, rupture of the liver and rupture of the cyzone, merozoites are released, right? So once it enters the erythrocytes or the RBCs, after the bursting from the liver cells and the cyzones, it doesn't go back again to the liver. It stays in the RBC only. And this hypnozoites are formed only when this RBC again, those merozoites which were in the RBC reverts back to the liver and they stay there. Okay, but this is not happening in case of falciparum, but in the other three, this is happening. That's why hypnozoites are present. Understood? This is for your, this is a kind for, it can be a Viva question. Okay. Anyways, today's topic is on clinical manifestations and the laboratory diagnosis. Let me present a slide. Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So every diagnosis is like then clinical manifestation also like it is like little bit similar with those of the other three listing, but we'll be more focusing on the falciparum. Okay. So the first one, the incubation period. Hi, who is coming now? She's always late, this girl. So the incubation period, okay, it is like, we call it as the pre-patent period also. Pre-patent period is that time period where infection takes place till the showing of the symptoms is known as pre-patent period or incubation period, okay. So in the Plasmodium falciparum, the incubation period is around 6 to 12 days. Vivax may 10 to 17 days. Plasmodium ovale may around 12 to 16 days. And Plasmodium malariae 28 to 30 days. Okay. There is another period. First one is pre-patent period, okay, where incubation takes place. Second one is prodromal period. Prodromal period is a period where subclinical conditions used to take place, okay. And here non-specific symptoms, matlab, these are the symptoms which can be shown to which can be seen in other infections too, okay. So such as malice is kind of pain, okay. Then myalgia, muscle pain, headache, fatigue, okay. The persons of will start having all these things symptoms. Then in addition, some localized symptoms such as chest pain, then abdominal pain, then arthralgia. Arthralgia means joint pains. This will start. Okay, so these are the the clinical means like which the starting symptoms. Okay, then coming to next stage is the febrile paroxysm, where the fever and all starts rigorous fever and all started coming started taking place in this from this paroxysm. So here the fever comes depending on the species, okay. The time of the fever, it depends upon the species, like which malarial parasite, okay. Here for the Plasmodium falciparum, fever occurs every 48 hours. 48 hours, okay. After that means on the third day it starts type, till 48 hours the fever will stay, then again it will subside and again it will come back type. Okay, then for the others, for the plasmodium malariae, okay, the fever starts like occurs every fourth day. Okay, every fourth day and every third day for other species. Yeah, this is like, it actually it doesn't have a definite pattern, but this is like some kind of like, uh, after the studies and all, they had like, concluded that like it the fever occurs every 48 hours and all. Okay, but there is no like, no certain patterns actually for this kind of fever. Yeah, when the fever takes place, there are three stages. Okay, one is the first stage is the cold stage. Cold stage is like the person starts feeling very like very cold, chill type of feeling, like intense cold. Then he will start shivering, and this shivering will last for about 15 to 60 minutes. Then next comes the hot stage. Then he started like, he started having like, like pura heat, intense heat, then burning. His temperature used to raise and like, burning, dry burning skin used to become very dry and all. Then throbbing headache, intense headache. So this hot stage will last for around 2 to 6 hours. Okay, then comes the next one, which is known as the sweating stage. There will be profuse sweating, matlab lots of sweatings. Then the temperature used to decline. The patient becomes very exhausted and very weak, and like he tends to sleep. This will last, sweating stage will last for around 2 to 4 hours. Okay, this is the cycle of the fever, which is happening to the person suffering from the fever, which is caused by the Plasmodium falciparum. Okay. Um, Actually, fever is taking place. Why most like this is also not known, but it has been like, said that it is due to the rupture of the red blood cells, like, where which like, which contains certain parasites. Okay, there is bursting of those RPCs, and those parasites comes out, that lead to the like, production of so many like, this a little bit of immunology is there in that. I won't go to that, but just know that this is like fever is most probably because of the bursting of the RBCs, which contains parasite. Okay. Who is coming? Anyways. Then after that, after the this thing, after a few paroxysm of fever, the patient develops anemia. Okay. Anemia, this is like, why anemia, because there is like lysis of both the parasitized as well as the non-parasitized RBCs breakdown. Okay, then there is suppression of the erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis means like RBC production from the bone marrows and all, that lead to the uh, this thing, anemia. Okay. Then we have hepatosplenomegaly. Yes, there is enlargement of both the liver as well as the spleen. Okay. Then these are the complications. What are the complications? There are lots of complications. One is cerebral malaria. Okay, cerebral malaria. In this, like the person becomes like the mental status is not right. Actually, there will be encephalopathy and all in this kind of conditions. And then we have this pulmonary edema, okay, then renal failure, hypoglycemia, then black water fever. These are some of the complications. You don't have to stress much on this thing. Okay, one line is more than enough for this. Like, um, For the black water fever, this is one of the most important complication. Okay. Okay, and this is the same thing. This is um, uh, the whole of the clinical syndrome is here. Okay, you can go through this one when I send the slide. It is the same thing which I have written above also. Now coming to the black water fever. So this is one of the complications, like why it is happening. This is due to the, like, there is a drug which is known as quinine. Okay, quinine is used for treating of malaria. When it is not, when, what to say, it is one factor of inadequately treating with the quinine that happens, that leads to the again repeated infection of the falciparum malaria. The person will be suffering from the or repeated attacks or repeated infection from the falciparum malaria due to the inadequately treatment with the quinine. Okay, this is the reason why black water fever leads to black water fever. And what happens here in the black water fever? There will be a very fast and a massive intravascular hemolysis. There will be hemolysis inside the vessels of both the parasitized as well as non-parasitized RBC, means those RBCs which are already attacked by the parasite or the normal RBCs. There will be intravascular hemolysis. Okay, and why this thing? In the urine of the patient, there will be a high level of hemoglobin. Plus, the breakdown products of the hemoglobin will also be present in the urine. Okay. So the person who is suffering from this black water fever, he will be having fever, then vomiting, pain in the loin. Loin is the lower abdominal area. Then jaundice, okay, hemoglobinemia, then hemoglobinuria, renal failure and shock. These are some of the symptoms of the black water fever. Why it is known as black water fever? Because of the urine, actually the appearance of the urine. When you see the physical appearance, the urine seems to be a red to brown color. Okay, it ranges from dark red to brown. Can you see this one? This is the normal urine. It looks like this. So when it is diluted, it looks like this. Okay, so can you appreciate the differences? This is totally like dark brown kind of color, and this is due to the presence of hemoglobin in the form of methemoglobin or oxyhemoglobin. Okay, so this much you can write in the black water fever. If I asked you write a short note or write some points on black water fever and give you 3 marks, then you can write about this. Okay. Now, after studying all these things, we can sum up that reservoir. Who is the reservoir? The infected man who is suffering from acute and chronic malaria, and carriers harboring the gametocyte, means in these persons, in their blood, gametocytes will be present. So those are known as reservoir. Next is vector. Which vector is producing this malaria? Okay, vector will be mosquito. By the bite of the mosquito is going to spread. Third is source. Okay, source, the one who is harboring, okay, the man. Then again transmission, how the transmission of malaria is taking place. Not only by the bite of the Anopheles mosquito, there are other ways how the malaria can also be transmitted. Okay, first one is very common, bite of infected by Anopheles mosquito. Second is by blood transfusion. When you transfused the blood, okay, and those donors are having this parasitemia in their blood. Okay, uh, those blood which contains like merozoites, in short, those bloods which contains merozoites. Okay, that is how through blood transfusion it's going to transmit to human, or from one person to another person. No, blood transfusion, yeah, one person to means from donor to that another person. Next is transplacental. Okay, it means congenital. It can be through congenital, from there will be infection in the placenta that will like reach to the bacha, like the in like the baby inside. Then it can also be transmitted by the process of organ transplantation. Okay, these are some of the ways of transmission of malaria. Now, the very important thing, that is the laboratory diagnosis. How you're going to detect, okay, how you're going to detect in the lab if the person is having or is suffering from malaria or not. Okay, so first is parasitic diagnosis. What you're going to do, the best specimen or specimen of choice will be blood. You're going to take blood. Okay, so site of the collection of the blood, from where you're going to collect, mostly we use the capillary blood. Okay, in the capillary blood the parasites will be more. Okay, um, yellow, आपका जो ear है, from the yellow, or otherwise from the fingers in the older children, in the and the adults, in the older children, in the and adults. I missed out writing another one. Okay, for the infants from the grade 2. Okay, from the infants you take from the grade 2. So when when to collect, the blood actually. Okay, um, you should always prefer collecting the blood before any administration of or any treatment, before starting any treatment or before eating any antimalarial drugs. Okay, so it can be collected at any time of during the fever, but most preferably the when this paroxysm stage is taking place, it will be more in that time. Okay, presence of parasite in the blood is more in those at that particular time. It's not it's more like preferably like we don't go for at what we don't go for the timing of collection. You can collect anytime, but the frequency of examining the blood smear frequency, so at least twice a day you should collect the blood sample and see for the parasites until the parasite is detected. Okay, so the method of examination, first one is light microscopy, second is fluorescent microscopy, third is QBC, okay, quantitative buffer plot method. Now, the light microscopy, it is one of the best conventional method for detecting the malarial parasites. Okay, so we make two films of this, or we make two smears. One is known as thick film, and another is known as thin film. In the physiology, have you did you ever make a smear of the blood?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
about the thick smear? Have they taught you how to make a thick smear?
No.
Okay. So in this picture, this one will be your thin smear and this one will be your thick smear. Okay. So the importance of thick film is that, like, you will be able to identify, you will be able to know that parasite is present or not. Okay, or otherwise to quantitate, or quantitate in a sense how much parasite are present in that blood. Okay, or otherwise it can be used for detection of certain malarial pigments. That is the use of thick film. But the disadvantage is that, like, you cannot identify from the thick film which species of malarial parasite is present in that. Okay, because it will be all aggregated in one area. It is more concentrated in one area, so you cannot identify. Okay, whereas for the thick film, what you can do is you can identify till the species level which malarial parasite is present in that particular patient's blood. You can identify that. Obviously, if you see that, that means parasite is present or not. You can, obviously, you know it. Okay. Mm, yeah. How the thick film is made? What you do is you take a, you take a this blood sample. Okay. You squeeze out from the, like, from the wherever earlobe or from the fingers. You put it here. Then with the end, with the help of this thing, end of another slide, like, you smear it out. Okay, you smear it out. Then after that, what you do is you dry it. Okay, you dry it. There is no, like, there is no need of fixation in case of thick film. Okay, you dry it out. After drying, you can do the staining process. Okay, for the thin film, what you do, you put one drop of the blood, that then with the, yeah, can anyone tell me how the thin film is made? How you made a blood smear in the laboratory? Anybody? Anyone who can tell me how you make a
First, you
blood smear?
put the blood drop in the slide,
Mm.
and with the help of another end of one of the another side, you
Mm.
slide sliding with on the each of the other end, so that it will make a thin wall.
Okay. Yeah, we take one drop of the blood, and with the help of another slide, okay, you just, like, you have to push at a 45 angle and make a tongue shape like this. Okay, it should be tongue shape. Then after that, you air dry it. Then you fix it with the help of alcohol. Let it dry. After that, you go for staining. So staining can be done by different methods. Mostly in the laboratory, which we use is Leishman stain. You must have heard of that, na? Leishman stain suna hoga, and the one which we are using in the lab here is Leishman stain only. Or otherwise, we can use Jimsa stain. Okay. Then field stain, Ramnowski stain, and JSP stain. Okay, these are some of the stains which you can use. Okay, I didn't write this. The stains, like, let me write the stains, name of the stains. Leishman stain, Leishman stain, or otherwise Jimsa stain. Ramnowski stain, and OWSKY. That's Ramnowski stain. Then field stain, or JSP stain. J. So these are some of the stains which you can use for staining of the smears. Okay. Now coming to the, yes, that was about the light microscopy. Light microscopy is like, very sensitive, this thing, very sensitive type of method. Yeah, one more thing. How you're going to see under the light microscope. This is a picture. This is Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, Plasmodium. When you see under the microscope, the ring form. Can you appreciate these rings? These are RBCs. Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's, let's make it bigger. Can you appreciate this? I said
Yes, ma'am.
these
Yes,
are
ma'am.
ring forms. Okay, and for the Plasmodium falciparum, when you see it, when you scanned it, at least like most of the in most of the RBCs there will be multiple rings. That is one of the identifying feature. Okay, uh, these are RBCs. So another one is there which is known as aquiform. Okay, aquiform is a condition where these rings are present on the wall or the membrane. Okay, uh, here on the membrane of the RBC at the end. Okay, these are known as aquiform of the Plasmodium falciparum. Then, yeah, these are the structures which you'll be seeing under the microscope. Diagram and this thing which you see under the microscope is little different. Okay, this one is Plasmodium falciparum. These are the trochozoid form. Till here it's the trochozoid form. Okay, ring structures, all those. This will be the cyzone. Cyzone is the one which carries lots of merozoites inside it. Here Plasmodium oval, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium vivax. Till here, for all the four, these are the trophozoite forms, ring forms as well as trophozoite forms, advanced trophozoite forms. This will be the cyzone of each of the malarial parasite. Okay, and this one will be the gamete forms. For the Plasmodium falciparum, the gamete forms used to look like a what? How does it look like? They used to call it as a banana shape. Can you see the structure? Appreciate the structure? It looks a little bit like banana.
Yes, ma'am.
So we call these are gametes, okay? We call it as gametes. And for the other structures, the gametes, both the male and the female, they look oval or round. Okay, compared to this Plasmodium falciparum, which is gamete, like gamete, which looks like just banana shape type. This is another structure. Malarial parasite ring form looks like this. It's like it all depends. We sometimes we find it hard, okay, to see under the microscope. It needs a very uh, experienced hands, where you can detect the parasites well. Otherwise, most of the parasites, you cannot scan. Whatever you scan, it doesn't show up. So very experienced hand is needed for focusing the malarial parasites actually. So while scanning it, at least when you scan the slide, at least 100 to 200 fields should be scanned. You should not एक दो scan करके छोड़ना नहीं, because in other fields maybe the malarial parasites are present. Okay, so from one corner of the smear till the last corner of the smear, you have to scan, and at least 100 to 200 fields should be scanned before you declare that the slide doesn't have any malarial parasite. Now coming to the fluorescent microscope, what we do, there is a technique which is known as Kawamoto technique. Okay, here what you make a smear, then after that you have to do fluorescent staining. You have to stain the smear with the acridine orange. It is the fluorescent dye. Acridine orange is a fluorescent dye. And when you see under the fluorescent microscope, okay, the DNA, nuclear DNA will be staining as a green. Okay, this one. And the RBCs will be red. Okay. And this is the malarial parasite which is flourishing, and gametocyte. It looks like a banana shape, right? So it's this thing. So this is the method of using this fluorescence microscopy. It is a very sensitive type of technique, but it is quite costly. Okay. Then we have the last one, which is known as quantitative Buffy-Coat examination. Okay. So it is done on a capillary tube. You have to collect the blood is collected in a capillary tube, okay, and that capillary tube is already coated with a fluorescent dye. Okay, it has already been, that particular tube is already been coated with a fluorescent dye. Means coating is going to take place on the inside. Already it's been coated, okay, with a fluorescent dye. Then you have to do centrifugation, a special type of centrifugation. We call it as microhematocrit centrifugation. So after the centrifugation, let's say this is the capillary tube in the larger version. After the centrifugation, there are three layers. The first layer जो stagnant हो रहा है, that is the RBC, which is heaviest, which is like सबसे नीचे में. Then the Buffy coat is here. So the Buffy coat, it is some kind of whitish type of layer, and it consists of leukocytes and the platelets. Okay. Then the first layer will be the plasma. Then after that, the Buffy coat is examined under the fluorescent microscope. Okay, so again, same thing as that of fluorescence microscope, we use acridine orange here. So if the malarial parasites are present, those parasites will appear to be like, if you are using acridine orange as a fluorescent dye, which has been coated in that capillary centrifuge tube, it shows a color which is greenish in color. Green, which is like a little bit of some kind of like this. The green color ka, it will, if the organism is there, it will be flourishing. Okay, so this is they have mentioned here what are the structures, like here in the tube, what are the things, like micro things they have mentioned here. You read it by yourself once out here. Then for the serological test, you can do indirect fluorescent antibody test, you can do ELISA, you can do radioimmunoassay, indirect hemagglutination assay, and for the molecular diagnosis, you can use DNA probe or polymerase chain reaction. Okay, so this is about the lab diagnosis of the Plasmodium malaria, which is caused by Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, this is important, very important. And others are also similar. Other three are also all similar. What you do is take it as an assignment or something. Okay, I want you all to differentiate, make a table of those clinical features or clinical manifestations or the structures different structures which can be seen under the microscope. Make a table. It is there in the Google only. You just write it down on your notebook, which is kept for parasitology or microbiology or whatever. You make that. Okay. I won't teach the Plasmodium vivax, malaria, and the others. We don't have time for that. Everything is similar. Okay. Every life cycle is also similar. Then you can just like study by yourself the clinical manifestations of the other three. Write few points. Okay. Write few points on each. Laboratory diagnosis is the same. uh, yeah, everything is same. That's why I am not going to teach. You just study the other three by yourself. Yeah. If I ask the life cycle of Plasmodium falciparum, whatever I taught, you can write. If I ask the life cycle of Plasmodium oval, malaria, or the vivax, what you can do is the today in my first at the beginning of my lecture, what I taught about, what was I discussing about?
Hypnozoids.
Relapse, about the hypnozoids. You add 1-2 lines on that. Okay, everything is similar. Add 1-2 points on the hypnozoids in the other three. Got it? Got my point? Everything is similar. You just go through the clinical manifestations of the other three. I will send a slide in the evening. And have you finished writing your Justin practical, which I have asked you to write? Have you finished writing the practicals which I asked you to write? Yes or no?
Ma'am, half.
About the diagram, ma'am, about the diagram.
See, the exams will be coming very soon, very, very soon. Okay, maybe next week, most probably the midterm. So, if I ever ask you to submit your scan copies of your practical file, you anyhow you have to do it. That's why I was warning you from that time. I have to give marks for your practicals too. Okay, so just complete it today, whatever. Keep scan everything and keep it perfectly. So the moment I say submit, you submit it at that time. Understood, everyone? And for the gram staining, for the Jaden staining, you have to draw the diagrams in the gram staining. 5 diagrams I want you all to draw. I already mentioned. Do you still remember? And yes,
Yes,
one more
ma'am.
thing for the practical, please keep
Ma'am.
in mind, you have to use color pencils for drawing the diagrams. No, I'm asking you to do. Okay. You have to color the Kokai bacilli. If it is gram positive, use purple color pencil. Otherwise, for example, if you guys come back physically, if we do offline, and if I take practical exam, I will prefer you guys drawing with the colored pencil in the exam. Okay. Otherwise, you won't score marks. So for the gram positive, use a purple color, and for the gram negative, use a pink color. Understood my point? And in your practical file also, use color pencils while drawing. And for the acid fast bacilli, the pus cells, it will be blue color, sky blue. And for the acid fast bacilli, what color should it be? What is the color of acid fast bacilli
Green.
after? Huh? Pardon? Seriously? After Jaden staining, what is the color of this thing? What is the color of the this thing, acid fast bacilli? When you see under the microscope?
Ma'am, it's going pink.
Yes, it is pink color. So you should. So when you draw the acid-fast staining, do not draw only the bacilli. You should also draw the WBCs as well as the this thing, whatever pus cells or whatever. Okay. Then you mix it. Then in the middle, the acid-fast bacilli should be there. Understood my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
मैम हमारा थ्योरी का सिलेबस कहाँ तक होगा?
जितना आज तक हुआ है, till the last day of the this thing. For example, कल एग्जाम है, आज तक जो किया वही तक. ओके. जो अभी तक क्या क्या किया हम लोग ने, सब कुछ आएगा. ओके. Let me take your attendance. Where is it? Two and two. Where is it? I'm not able to find my. Oh, yeah. What's today's date? 18. 11/2020. Please respond to your names. Vishwabandhu.
Present, ma'am.
Reloading. Just a minute, okay? Reloading. क्या हो गया ये? हाँ, Vishwabandhu is present. Sonia. Sonia is present. Zero. Blikania.
Present, miss.
Bojita. Bojita. Sohina.
Yes, ma'am.
Lanchenba.
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Galaxy.
roll number 2 present.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is present?
Ma'am, roll number 2.
What were you doing? Lanchenba is present. Galaxy is present.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Jessica.
Present, ma'am.
Ramraipam. He was present, no? Ramraipam. Manika. Manika. Amus.
Yes, ma'am.
Parvati.
Present, ma'am.
Bokri.
Yes, ma'am.
Rajita.
Yes, ma'am.
Aprajita.
Yes, ma'am.
Tennyson.
Yes, ma'am.
Kaushik. Kaushik. Ishika.
Yes, ma'am.
Tafikul. Hey, is this guy? Deepa. Deepa. Lipu Kumla.
Present, miss.
Satarupa. Deepjoy.
Present, ma'am.
Subendu.
Yes, ma'am.
Saurav.
Present, ma'am.
Lintuing Anbi. Lintuing Anbi. Vishwalu,
Yes, miss.
Livitoli, Livitoli, Bijoy Sarkar, Bijoy Sarkar, Jomsri, Kanchanbi,
Yes, ma'am.
Jomsri is present. I think she is absent. Shantibala,
Yes, ma'am.
Sandip, Sandip. That's why I was thinking today is very peaceful. Sandip is absent. Sudeepa,
Yes, ma'am.
Malvika,
Present, miss.
Joshila, Joshila, Saikat, Nikita, सब पढ़ने बैठ गए हैं क्या? अर्पिता,
Present, miss.
who is saying present? Two times I heard. Akash,
Yes, ma'am.
Pooja, Prakash Roy,
Yes, ma'am.
Abhijit Das, Priya Sur,
Present, ma'am.
Lipika Tripura,
Yes, ma'am.
Caroline,
Present, ma'am.
Arghya Jyoti. Caroline is present.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Arghya Jyoti, Russell,
Present, miss.
Bishan, Sagar,
Yes, ma'am.
Jewel, Cello, Anisha,
Present, ma'am.
Rakesh,
Present, ma'am.
Priya Jamatia, Pushpashri, sorry,
Present, ma'am.
Arindam, just Arindam has left the college or what? Any idea, any friends who talks to him?
No, ma'am. We don't know.
If any of you talks to him like or being friends, please ask him to join the classes, okay? He attended only one class. He won't be able to give the exam if it is like, in such situation we won't allow him. Please convey the message to him. Asha was present. कहाँ चले गए? Reena,
Yes, ma'am.
Rahul. Okay, that's all for today. We'll continue in the next class again, okay? I'll send the slides in the evening. I have other classes right now. I'll be a little busy. Today evening or this thing. Tomorrow morning I'll send. तब तक आप लोग till then please complete your files. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.